We often have a romanticized image of the Buddha's death, a completely serene, painless, and tranquil event, a quiet fading into bliss. We imagine that for the fully enlightened, death is not a struggle. But the ancient scriptures, the Mahaparinibbana Sutta, paint a far more realistic and human picture. They describe the Buddha's final months with unflinching honesty. He suffered from a violent illness and endured great physical pain, which he consciously had to master with his deep meditative stability in order to continue teaching. His death wasn't an escape from the raw physical reality of dying. It was his ultimate teaching on how to meet that reality with unwavering courage, profound clarity, and boundless love. This willingness to look death squarely in the face is the very foundation of the Tibetan Buddhist approach to life's final transition. Today, we approach a topic that our modern culture often avoids with fear and denial: the process of dying. Specifically, we'll explore the profound and immensely practical guidance offered by the Tibetan Buddhist teachings on death, the Bardo, and rebirth. For many, this can sound esoteric or frightening, but at its heart, this wisdom is an act of supreme compassion. It reframes death not as a terrifying cliff edge, but as a sacred and momentous journey, a journey for which we can and should prepare. The core principle of the Tibetan teachings is that death is not an end. It is a transition of consciousness. The state of our mind at the moment of death is the single most powerful factor that will influence what we experience next. Therefore, the whole of our life is seen as the preparation for our death. To make this practical, let's use an analogy. Imagine that death is a journey to a foreign country. It is a land you have never visited, but you know with absolute certainty that one day you will have to make the trip. The Tibetan teachings are the ultimate traveler's guidebook for this journey. This guidebook, like the Tibetan Book of the Dead, has been written and refined over centuries by the greatest spiritual travelers and master contemplatives. It describes the terrain, the customs, and the potential destinations. This guidebook gives us 3 crucial pieces of advice to follow during our lives. 1. Pack your bags well. The guidebook tells us we cannot take our material possessions, but we can take our state of mind. So we should spend our lives packing our bags with the only things that will be useful on the journey: a mind of love, compassion, forgiveness, and the positive karmic energy from our virtuous actions. 2. Learn the key phrases. It advises us to become familiar with a key phrase that can be our refuge in a confusing new land. This is our core spiritual practice, a prayer, a mantra, or a simple state of meditative presence that we have practiced so often in life that it becomes second nature. 3. Study the map. The guidebook provides a detailed map of the dying process itself, so we won't be frightened or disoriented when the journey begins. The journey itself, the Bardo. The map describes the Bardo, or intermediate state. It explains the outer dissolution, as our senses and the physical elements of the body shut down. Then it describes the inner dissolution of our mental states. The guidebook points to a moment of incredible opportunity, the dawning of the clear light, the brilliant, luminous essence of our own mind. The map says, if you have trained to recognize this, and you can merge with it, you will attain liberation right here. If that opportunity is missed, the guidebook describes the next phase of the journey, the Bardo of becoming, where our disembodied consciousness encounters powerful visions, both beautiful and terrifying. The guidebook's constant, reassuring advice is, do not be afraid, do not be attached. Recognize that all of these appearances are nothing more than the projections of your own mind. Remember your practice. Remember your refuge. This guidebook offers universal wisdom that can bring immense benefit to anyone regardless of their beliefs. It gives us the clear and compassionate checklist for a good death. Practical guidance for the person dying. 1. Simplify and let go. The most important task is to release attachments to property, to roles, and even to the body. Resolve old conflicts. Forgive others and ask for forgiveness. The goal is to leave this life with a heart that is open, peaceful, and free from the weight of resentment or regret. 2. Connect with your heart. This is the time to turn inward. Focus on the positive. Remember the good you have done. Connect with your spiritual core, whatever it may be. Rest in a feeling of love. Practical guidance for caregivers. 1. Create a peaceful environment. The person's surroundings should be as calm and serene as possible. Avoid loud noises, arguments, or intense expressions of grief in their presence, as their mind is becoming extremely sensitive. 2. Offer loving assurance. Speak to them with warmth and affection. Remind them of the love you share. Give them permission to let go, reassuring them that you will be all right. 3. Support their spirit. Don't impose your own beliefs. Support theirs. Gently read to them from their preferred spiritual texts. Play calming music or familiar chants, or simply sit in loving, meditative silence with them. Your peaceful presence is the greatest gift you can offer. The best time to prepare for death is when we are fully alive. The Buddha offered a powerful contemplation to help us live with this wise perspective. It is known as the 5 Remembrances. Sit quietly and reflect on these 5 simple, unavoidable truths. 1. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. 2. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape ill health. 3. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. 4. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature to change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. 5. My actions are my only true belongings. I cannot escape the consequences of my actions. My actions are the ground upon which I stand. Reflecting on these truths helps us to live with more purpose, love with more urgency, and to consciously pack our bags for the journey, day by day. The Tibetan teachings on death do not offer a morbid obsession with the end. They offer a life-affirming path of preparation. They transform what is our greatest fear into what can be our greatest moment of spiritual opportunity. By studying the Guidebook and packing our bags with wisdom and love throughout our lives, we can learn to face our final journey not with terror, but with a calm, confident, and open heart. What is one small thing you could do this week to pack your bags? An act of forgiveness, a moment of deep appreciation, or a dedication to your practice? Please share your intention in the comments below. If this guidance was helpful, please subscribe to The Mindful Compass. May we all live wisely, and may we all die peacefully.